Hello, welcome to Southbuster Living. But after this video, check out our other book related videos at
And read that chapter.
And we will look forward to seeing you there. But we wanted to wrap up middle grade March on this channel because all of the videos were here. So, yesterday was March 31st.
I don't think I got any other books done yesterday.
I didn't. It was a pretty busy day. I met every challenge. Did you read Princess Paisley? Because that was the only book we could find for the one in your decade. Oh, girl, you were lucky.
Yeah, this one.
You were lucky.
Ooh. So I got both of those done. I wonder if this
one is a recent release.
Oh, I got lucky.
Woo!
Yeah, Princess Paisley I did not get finished.
Dun, dun, dun. Grandma did not hear this. No, Grandma did not hear this.
Nope.
Okay, so let's talk about it. You and I both read this. And by read, we mean we listened to the audiobook. Because the narrator was epic.
Yeah, he was pretty
was
fun.
An amazing... The way he was able to do all the characters' voices and gave them a distinction, awesome. So what did you think of Peter Nimble and his fantastic eyes?
I really liked it.
I did too. I think I gave it 4 or 5 stars. I don't remember.
I think on Goodreads it said like 5 stars.
Yeah, because wasn't sure. Again, it's not my thing. Not my thing. But you have characters in here that, I don't know. For me, I was thinking like, Oliver Twist. I know you haven't read that yet. We'll get there. That's okay. He's okay, baby. We have all characters that remind me of Oliver Twist and Dobby. There was that one character.
Dobby.
Okay, yeah, but his name was like Crab or Scab. Scabs. Didn't that remind you of Dobby?
Yeah.
So there's characters in here that make us think of other, beloved stories. And I think everybody knows what Peter Nimble is about, but in case not, this is a story of a boy that had his eyes pecked out, which, again, I'm opening, I'm like, what am I listening to? What am I reading? But he had his eyes pecked out by ravens as an infant, and these sailors found him, and he learned to survive from a kid by being a thief. By thieving. He's a thief. I know how to use my words. I think. It's late. We're done. We're tired. Kaput. Okay, so as a thief, he then gets, it's not like kidnapped, but, what is it called? Like, it's in Oliver Twist too, where you have the head honcho that basically uses these kids to do his dirty work for him. So he's then trapped with this guy kind of thieving for him. And then you have a character that basically changes his life forever. And Peter ends up stealing this box. And in this box are these eyes. And these eyes, 3 different kinds. And they'll take him on adventure. And it's basically his adventure to then figure out this riddle and everything from then on. There's a little mystery in here. There is...
I love the ending though.
The ending is epic.
Yeah,
oh, you got a little steampunk. You've got man. Okay, so the bad king. Who did he remind you of? Because I couldn't put my finger on it. Because it was like an imagination of another story, and I couldn't. It almost like almost the villain in Spider-Man. Like there was something about him that reminded me of the villain from Spider-Man. But anyway. I really liked it. I thought it was very engaging.
Yeah.
And I will probably read this to my boys because I think, actually, they were listening to the audiobook too and really liked it. So when I had the audiobook, I was like, okay, guys, I'm going to listen to this. We had a long drive ahead of us, and they were not on board at all. Nobody was. Nope.
Everyone was like, oh, me.
Yeah. They were like, Adventures in Odyssey. I'm like, no. Break from Adventures in Odyssey. We're doing this. And everybody loved it, and they wanted to know more. So I think we will probably finish reading it. But we both loved it. How many stars did you give it?
I think I gave it 4.
Yeah, it was 4 or 5. I think I gave it 5 because it surprised me. It was a pleasant surprise and just so many good elements. And it was a story that I think young and old could really enjoy together.
So
share another one.
We both read that one. I read The Hobbit, so I got another classic done. And forgive me if I...
Butcher?
No, but if I miss a couple of, like, highlights.
Just don't give it away.
This is about a story named Bilbo Baggins. I almost forgot his name for a second. Bilbo Baggins, and then there's this one guy, I can't remember his name.
Gandalf?
The one main, not like the second main character kind of thing.
Not Gandalf?
Bilbo Baggins, and then there's like this...
Gandalf.
Yeah, okay, Gandalf. Okay, it was Gandalf.
Gandalf is the Tolkien version of Dumbledore.
Yeah. Anyway, so he and Bilbo Baggins, they bump into each other, and then Bilbo Baggins, like, come to my house for tea. What was that? Are you a fish?
I don't know. I got this hair that's, like, jumping out. Which one is it? Is it this one? It's this one. Look at that.
It's like part of your bangs. I get that all the time.
It's driving me nuts.
Okay. Anyway,
Tea.
Baggins asks Gandalf, that's the word, I almost said something else, asks Gandalf to come to his house for tea, and so Gandalf was like, okay, I'll do it.
You don't need a play-by-play, but what is the whole essence of the story?
And then, Gandalf, what's that saying? Okay, I want to say Gandalf, he brings this, like, entire party, and Baggins is, like, so, like, what's going on?
Like, totally, dude.
Yeah. Ah! Okay. Anyway, so, they're like, okay, we're gonna go on this, like, adventure type thing, and I can't remember why they were going on this adventure. And then they, like, run into all of these things, and Bilbo Baggins gets lost, and then he, like, has this secret ring that he can slip on and it will turn it imaginary.
Foreshadowing.
It kind of reminds me of, like, Harry Potter's cloak. So, but it's a ring. Anyway, so he uses this ring to kind of, like, hide himself away from some of the dangers, and then he, like, gets back with his friends, and they go to this, like, mountain, I think. Honestly, I was reading so many books at the time, I was having a hard time figuring out. Anyway, I liked it. I get 4 stars, and I think it was a pretty funny and cute story. So.
For my classic, I knocked off a John Steinbeck. I have The Pearl. I threw this across the room once I finished reading it. I was in bed. My husband and I were in bed. We're reading, and I just went, and he was like, "What?"
I wish I was there to see that.
I was like, "The end." And I would have quit it, except my husband's like, "Oh yeah, I read that in high school." And then my competitive side came out, and I'm like, "Okay, I'll finish this. I won't DNF it." But it's the story of how this pearl changes a village, not for the better. It's like this great big pearl, and it's going to change our 2 main characters, Kino and Juana, and their boy, Quinn something or another. Anyway, it's going to change their life. They found this pearl, and everybody, it turns dark. And at the end, I was like, that's it. That's the end. I was over it. But I got it done. And I asked my husband, I was like, so, in high school, you had to read this. What did you have to read it for? Like, what was the point? That all men are searching for something that's wasting their lives? What? Yeah.
Sorry, I'm seeing what I would look without bangs. I haven't seen myself without bangs forever. Okay.
You don't have bangs. This is bangs. What you have are not bangs.
It's half bangs.
No.
Bangs that are on the side. Okay.
It's hair pulled to the side.
Yeah. Okay, I read the last 2 Enola Holmes, The Cryptic Crinoline and The Gypsy Goodbye. Yeah, I inhaled these. Like, I think I finished this in like 2 days. I would have finished it in 1, but man, that was a busy day. This is about her landlady, Miss Tupper, and she randomly disappears, and her daughter or niece, tells her that she was actually kidnapped by these guys, and there was like a note that said, "Carrier pigeon, deliver your Birdbrain message at once or you will be sorry you ever left. Scuttery." So, it's like this message, and it's like about these birds. And not Florence Nightingale, oh my gosh, sorry. Enola was like, what's this message mean? There was this note, and it said that message, and she figures out that Florence Nightingale is a type of bird, so she goes to Florence Nightingale for help, and Florence Nightingale's like, yeah, I can't help you, and I didn't send the note, and then
it's up to her to figure out who and what and where, how and why.
And so they...
Just don't give it away.
Okay.
Shh! Will she find her? We don't know.
Okay, let's cut that out. Okay. And so she's like on this adventure trying to find her, and during this adventure to try to find her...
Are you giving more away? Yes. Would you want to know this if you were starting the first book?
Okay.
She's on this adventure to find the housekeeper. We can't share too much about these because then we'll ruin the series for you.
I'm so used to like narrating the entire thing of what I read. That's why homeschool is difficult while you're reading and narrating books.
And then we read the 8th one.
Six.
You. Yeah, I know. I guess stuck with it.
Okay. Well, this is about her, and she's trying to find this Lady Blanchefleur, which, there's like this Pokemon called Glossifleur, so I thought that was pretty funny. Okay. On her way to okay.
Can we just like review it? What did you think? Did you like it? Okay. Don't tell anything about the book.
I gave the entire series 5 stars. So, blah blah. And I just gave it away again. Okay.
She's trying to find someone, and then you're along for the ride trying to figure out who, what, where, how, and why, and all these details.
Yes.
But I really liked it, and I gave it 5 stars. And by me, I mean you.
Yes. Okay. Johnny's in here.
Okay. Actually, I'm going to do my DNF. I have The Remarkable Inventions of Walter Mortison. It is a DNF for me. Okay, so as I was reading this, I was like, okay, so this is Series of Unfortunate Events meets Hugo Cabret.
Cabret.
That's what I just said.
You said Cabret.
Cabret. Okay. Series of Unfortunate Events meets Hugo Cabret. John, please stop. I thought it was going to be phenomenal because of that. So, pretty much anything that I think is going to be phenomenal is not. And everything that I don't have high expectations for exceeds my expectations. So, there is a lot of information dumping in here. So, the idea here is the dad has disappeared, assumed dead, and you have our main character who is an inventor and loves inventing, and his mother hates it and shuts it down to save him. And you can tell that she loves him. She's just not... She's very harsh when it comes to his creations. I had a problem with that. But honestly, this whole town is just a series of unfortunate events town. Like, nobody is supposed to think. Nobody is supposed to do anything but follow this formula. And then this boy, our main character, gets the opportunity to go to somebody that will basically give an apprenticeship for his creations. And then he grabs this girl that, again, it was just like this quick info dump of who this is and how she relates to him, and then they're off. And it was okay. And then they're off, and their mom is now after them, trying to find them. On top of all that, we go back in time to when his dad and his mom met and fell in love, and then that whole story. To be honest, it was so confusing. I was lost it many times. I was not into the story. I was trying. And finally, I just did something that I almost never, ever, ever do. I skipped to the end and read it, and I was like, that's going to be the end? And so I DNF'd it, because there ain't nothing here that I really want. So.
Okay. Another, like, travel and adventure, I guess you can say, is I read the Millie Maven series, or book one, I mean. I did not get to finish the other two, but I did finish the first one by Ted Decker and Rochelle Decker. So by, like, a sister and brother.
And you brought this to me, and you're like, I'm not sure I want to read this. I don't think this is going to be my thing.
Because the aunt, but Millie calls her mother, she was really harsh. She was kind of like the stepmother for Cinderella. Like, she was always putting her to work. The mother was the
It had a
mother.
very Harry Potter opening.
Yeah. And like Cinderella opening. Like, you can't eat until this is done. And it was on her birthday. And she was like, okay, you're not getting cake or any presents at all because you didn't do this and this. I didn't like that. But I started reading more, and this is the story about a girl about Millie, who she doesn't like to live with her aunt and uncle. The uncle doesn't like seeing her at all. He's like, I don't ever want to see her. Yeah. So she meets this, like, lady, and the lady's like, come follow me. And so Millie's like, oh, okay, guess I'll follow you. And the one lady's like, I'm going to change your life. And so the lady's telling her to jump into this, like, pool or river or thing. And Millie's like, I'm going to drown if I do that. So she does it, and then she ends up in this world where all these other kids have similar issues like her, and they are, like, in this different world type thing, and each of them has to go through these 3 different challenges. And they're all really hard, you guys. Some of them you have to work together with, or some of them you have to work on your own. And the second one...
So Millie has to go through all these challenges and kind of see what she's made of. And what is the point in all these challenges? Or does that give it away?
It would give it away.
Okay. So what is your rating?
I gave this one 4-star. It's like a 4 and a 5-star for me.
So 4.5.
Yeah. So I'm gonna read I'm most likely gonna reread that one because it is pretty good, and I cannot wait to read the rest too. Oh, and something about the first one.
So Grandma, good idea on sending that to her.
Yes. So another one about this. She in the fake, like, world, I guess you could say. She meets 2 friends, and I think what these 2 are going to be about is them going on adventures because they have both the girl and the boy that she meets. Ooh, there we go. So, I cannot wait to read these.
Ted and Rochelle Decker they were Christians.
Yes,
So.
If there is Christian content in here.
Okay.
Hold on. And when she is in this world... they're talking about the great teacher, Jesus, and she meets this one older boy that is, like, hidden in the forest.
Daddy, careful.
Or he's, like, in the forest. And she thinks he's a nice guy, but she figures out that he's an evil guy trying to tempt her away. So he's like a Satan. So I really enjoyed it.
Satan often appears as the angel of light.
So.
Wednesday Wars.
I want to read that.
Okay. They want to read it because I kept laughing out loud so much with this book.
Yeah.
And then they would come in and they're like, Mom, you're crying. And I'm like, and then the next second they're like, wait, no, you're not crying. You're laughing. It was both. And when I started this book, I was going to I was like, okay, this may be a 3-star read. Because for probably most of it, I'm like, I am not enjoying this. This is typical middle school. This is everything why I did not want to send my kids to school. I'm glad I was homeschooled. All this stuff, all of those elements. I didn't like it. And then it just transformed. And I really, really, really liked it. So I can't wait to read the second one. It's a
one.
Yep, there's Schmidt, or no, Now Again, or Here Again, or something again. There's a second one, and I think a third one just came out. Yeah, I'm the last one on this. Wasn't really sure if I would like it, and I do. So, yeah, this is about a boy that basically is kind of a mousy character. And he is in school, and he's just kind of doing everything he can to stay under the radar. He does not want to be acknowledged, and I think it's like a prep school, like a people of money kind of school. And pretty much he is the only Presbyterian in the school. They're either Catholic or Jew. And so Wednesdays, he's the only Presbyterian here, so he ends up staying with his teacher, and basically she's trying to challenge him. She's trying to get him to do more because he just is kind of this mediocre kid, barely skim it. Is one of those that, as I'm reading it, I'm like, he's going to be one of those that is a lot smarter than he thinks. And this teacher knows it. And she does, and she starts giving him Shakespeare, and he falls in love with Shakespeare. And you just have a whole cast of characters that play a role in this, and again, it's hilarious at times, it's sobbing at times. The parents are your typical, stereotypical rich parents that just make me want to puke. They just drive, I don't like them, but I don't think we're supposed to. And again, that was one of those things where I'm like, all of these things, I'm just like, I'm not gonna like this, but I do. I loved it. It was a really good book.
Okay, this was not on my TBR, but it was a book that I wanted to read, Sealed with a Secret. I read the first one called My Secret Guide to Paris. And this is the second one about her friend that she met in Paris, Phoebe. And in Paris, she finds this like little, what is it? It's like an antique, but there's this like two sisters, and one sister's writing to the other sister.
Do you have a dual timeline with this? So are you kind of going back in time with it?
No.
Okay. You just learn more about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And along with the letter, there is a like magic spell to bring two sisters together, and Phoebe's really trying to do it with her sister because recently her sister just doesn't want to do anything with Phoebe. So she thinks she's lovesick, and because her sister's going to college. So she and her sister just doesn't want anything to do with her. And so Phoebe's like, I really want my sister back. So she tries this magic spell, but she doesn't get to one of the things, and
don't give the story away.
She thinks she and her sister will never be the same again. So you'd have to read the rest of the story, or else I'd spoil it. But I really enjoyed this, so I will give this back to my friend that lent it. Oh, no, go back.
I'm pretty much done. I'm just going to show some books that I'm in the middle of reading, because I think when I wrap up what I have read, it sounds like I have started and finished that week, but no. So as I have finished, so I did 4 this week.
I have 1 more, or 2 more actually.
No, I have, because I did film something, because I had to take it to the library, and those were 2 bigger ones. That being said, I had about 3 days where I was out of commission, and so I did pretty much nothing. But I am in the middle of these, and I'm going to just briefly talk about them. So I'm in the middle of Starry River of the Sky, and by the middle I mean that's where I am. So I have that one. I am reading Becoming by Michelle Obama. I'm about that far in that, and this one is like my nonfiction, so I didn't get a nonfiction done this month, but in March. And then this was the book that I was going to read, and I lost, and we just found it. But this is the book that I wanted to read. It's the Newbery Medal winner, and it is for the year I was born. And it was supposed to be a book written in the decade you were born, but I wanted to read the Newbery winner for the year I was born. And that was this one. And I am actually pleasantly surprised by this. I did not have high expectations. There's a lot of issues that I have with Abraham Lincoln. And so I really don't like reading books that basically treat him like another god. Like a human god. But this one hasn't. It has shown some of the flaws that I think that a lot of history books don't talk about, but they have shown like some of his strengths as a character, and so I appreciate that. The only thing that I have not seen, they do talk about the fact that he really wasn't outspoken for the slavery until later on in the war. I do appreciate that they brought that out, but they haven't brought out the fact that he really followed Henry Clay, who wanted all of the black Americans to go back to Africa. He wanted to pretty much just get them out of America and have a pure country. And Abraham Lincoln followed a lot of his writings and ideals, and they haven't really brought that out. So I kind of wish that they would have, maybe not go so much into depth, but I think it would have really shown a lot more of some of the decisions that Abraham Lincoln made. They did talk about how he ran as a Whig or Democrat until he decided that he would try for Republican, and after losing as a Democrat so many times, he won as a Republican. So they did address that, and I appreciate that. So I am in the middle of these three, and that kind of goes into the next week.
One that wasn't on my TBR for middle grade March, but I found on Audible, and I decided to try it out, was The Mistwick School of Music Craft. And I had high expectations for this, but I only gave it 3 stars. This book is about this girl who, it's about a ton of people who music can make, if you play a certain song, it'll do a certain spell. And so she ends up going to this school and learning different music spells and all of that. And there was this huge tornado, and there was this whole entire class who helped make this tornado stop, kind of thing.
By a chorus, yeah. Or orchestra, I mean? Orchestra?
Kind of. Yeah. But anyway, there's it's just a bunch of magic spells that you can do with your instrument.
So Harry Potter for musicians.
Yeah. So I gave it 3 stars. I kind of liked it, but I kind of didn't like it. But
was it just kind of there? As you didn't like it?
And the next one that I read, Interview with the Robot, I loved. I want to own this book, and I want to read it over and over again. This book is about a robot that was turned into a real-life girl. There's this dad who lost his wife in a car accident, and then he was like, okay, I'm just going to start building robots. He has this huge building where he does all these different kinds of robots. And he decided to turn this girl, Evie, into a real-life girl who can literally act like a real-life girl. So the dad's son and daughter both died in the car crash, as well as his wife. But the dad decided to build robots out of, or robots to them, I guess you could say. And so
in memoriam of them?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so they figure that out, and then they figure that the dad wants them for money type thing, and so Evie runs away. So it's just about them interacting with each other, how she was built and all of that. And this is actually why it's saying interview, is because Evie was caught stealing something, and she was purposely stealing this so she could go to the police, so she could tell them that she's a robot and everything type thing. And so
we're not giving it away by saying that?
Not really.
Okay.
No. But this police, she's interviewing her, and so Evie's flashbacking to what happened kind of thing. So I read that and I really liked it, and I want to own that one. Yep. The 2 books that I didn't get done that I wanted to were Bliss and Bob. I was reading this yesterday, but I didn't get very far in it. But
okay, I have to get these books back to the library. They are overdue. Well, one is. And one is a new release, and that usually means that there is a wait list for that. So I'm going to put this clip in the other video. I've got so much noise around me, so hopefully we can do that. Okay, so the first one I'm going to talk to you about is The Number of Love by Rosanna M. White. Chantal, you won't like it. It's not only historical fiction, it is also, let me get in here, not only is it historical fiction, but it is also romance. So it is historical romance. And this tells the story of a girl, I'm sorry, I can't figure out, where we go. Basically, it's the continuation of her first series. This one's the Codebreakers, but her first series was about this group of kids that kind of banded together on the streets of London. They were professional thieves, and each book kind of tells a different point of view of this thief, and basically how they end up using their tricks of the trade to help the government during World War I. So spies, espionage, and all that fun stuff. And so then this one continues on with a different, so basically all the thieves are married now, but one of the thieves married a violinist, like a renowned violinist, and now it's telling her story, and she is like a whiz at numbers. She is a prodigy. She just numbers are always flowing in her head. She's just has that brilliant kind of character, and it kind of just tells her story. She is cracking codes for the World War I English, like MI6 and Bletchley Circle and all this. So what's really interesting about this is Rosanna, or Mrs. White, in the back of the book kind of says where she kind of embellished the truth of what really happened to make it fit the story, but she also tells what was real. A lot of the circumstances in here were real. She just changed names and different things, or made certain characters do that. And so that was really fascinating. It did have more of a slower start for me. And I don't think it was necessarily this book, but it might have been. I'm not sure. Again, just that pressure of I gotta get this back to the library was on here, but it's honestly just been a really hard couple of days for me physically. So I think sometimes I'm just not fully there, and I'm not fully into the story. But once I got going, I really enjoyed this, and gave it 4 stars. It was not quite a 5-star read for me. Again, I think there was just a couple of things that I can't quite put my finger on it. And it had to do with our villain of the story. And there was just something there that I didn't know if he was quite developed or whatnot. I did like the fact that it isn't a villain that you just hate. I liked that. There was just, you're in a war and the villain is just the other side. So I did like that, but I don't think he was fully developed. I don't really know how to put that, but there was just something that I was like, I don't know. So I thought that was really interesting. I have a feeling that we're actually going to know more about this villain. There's just something niggling in the back of my mind that makes me think we're going to end up knowing a little bit more about this villain. So that is the first one, and I know my mom has the third one, so these might be complete at this point. The other book that I read, and I love this one so much, I gave it 5 stars, and this is a book that I will be looking forward to owning. It's a new release, and so the hardback copy is like almost $20 right now. So I'm gonna have to just bite my fingernails and just wait till it drops down. But what I am talking about here is Kitchen Front. This is by Jennifer Ryan, best-selling author of the Chilbury Ladies Choir, which I've never heard anything of. A friend of mine that typically we kind of agree on books and premises and stuff. She only gave that 3 stars, so now I'm just like, is this one of those authors that just gets better the more practice she has? Oh, so this is kind of a Julie and Julia meets Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie. So if you want to see my review on this, please go to and read another chapter. I'll leave it linked down in the comments below. The review for this is probably not up yet, but it will be forthcoming in the next week or so. And again, I just had so many thoughts that it's going to take a long time to add this to this video. So, okay. All right. Now the next clip, we'll be sharing all the other books that we read this week. Okay. That's a wrap for middle grade March. Thankfully, you don't have to stop reading middle grade at the end of March. We can go on. But we did film what we're going to read in April, and I will leave that link down below for you. I have one more book that I've added to it because I have joined Angie from the Science Mama, and I am going to do her history book club thing that I can't remember the name of. I'll leave it linked down below so you can just go there and learn all that. So we are going to do Kristen Hanna's The Four Winds. So that's the only book that I've got to add on to that list that's in the video. And so I'm going to say it's a good wrap. Those are the books that I read. Got them done. Hallelujah. I did not get a book done a day this year like I did last year, but that's okay. I'm proud for what did get accomplished.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, have another cup of coffee
Or tea.
and read another chapter. Bye.